Let me tell you something now, this is ball hour, and we can ball all hour. Drag the ball backwards, captaining, left them all fractured, home advantage. When we score the goals, we don't do the dancing. All action, tell them again, enjoy the show, this is all facts here. We've been grafting all year long, you ain't getting right here. I've been grafting all season, I want player of the year. Yeah, pro contract with a FIFA card. And the man them there like he is hard.
Welcome back, Ball Hour family. We're back with another episode. You already know what to do before you start watching this video. Make sure you go watch the other ones. But other than that, we're going to get straight into it. Got the gaffers from Cockfosters. But before we get into that, we're going to introduce ourselves. So to the left, of my guy on work experience today, my co-host, Courtney Austin. And then obviously introducing the gaffers, Gavin and Phil. How you guys doing?
All good, cheers.
All good, thank you.
Courtney, how you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Happy to be involved.
It's about time. This guy took years to get on the episode, but now we've got him, so hopefully it should be a good one. So starting off, guys, how's the season going?
Yeah, it's had its moments at the beginning. We was, it's taking a little bit of organisation, but we're getting on track. Yeah,
that doesn't sound really confident.
Well, to be fair, it was a tough start. So we've had a bit of a tough start with getting players in and out, and then having players absent, like holidays and.
What's the fine for that? Players going on holiday during the season? Because
it's a dart.
That's a bit of a mad one.
It's a dart.
It's a dart, yeah.
Boy, season start, don't you want to get off and running? You're letting players go on holiday.
Listen,
I even throw darts.
I wouldn't be letting them go. Yeah, he went away, so I wouldn't be letting them go on holiday.
That's what happens, leading by example, isn't it?
No, I'm not. I wasn't there.
Well, should we get the job then?
You can have a go if you want.
Nah. I don't
More
think
work experience.
I don't think management. My thing. I feel like it's too time consuming. I feel like for you guys, you must be managers 24/7 when you're at home, when you're at your so-called day jobs, and then
He has all that.
Yeah.
It must be hard for him.
So talk me through that. What's that like?
It's tough. It's tough because your phone is always on, and in fairness, there's no concept from players of what time it is, what day it is. It's just like if there's an issue, then I'm messaging you. Don't matter what time, and you deal as and when. And if you feel that it needs your attention there and then, you do it. If you feel that it doesn't, then you leave it till the next day. But day of rest Sunday, don't count.
No, I feel like that's like the one unwritten rule. One unwritten rule is that you don't message managers on a Sunday at all. I feel like when I tried to when I wanted to get into clubs, they were like, here's the manager's number. Don't message him on a Sunday. Why is that? You just lock off rest day, innit?
It's the only day of rest that you get, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're not as hands-on as him because you're first team coach. So what's that dynamic like? You just come in. You're part of one of the players, isn't it? Part of the lads.
Yeah, but you've got to have a day off, ain't you? You've got to have a day from it.
So you don't help out in any way, or is it just like you just do the coaching?
I ain't got my phone number. I'll keep that to myself. They can have it.
So how do you guys know each other then?
It happened through my son, basically. He went and played for Gav over at St Mags, and Gav was helping out at first team, ain't you?
No, I was Resi manager. Yeah.
And then my son come home to me one day after he played for Gav, and he went, "Dad, I put your name forward." So I went, "What for?" He went, "The reserve manager wants someone to help him." So I went, "Yeah," and he went, "Well, your name's forward. He's going to ring you. He's got your number." And it just went from there. And I just went over, I had a chat with Gav, and me and him just cracked on from there.
I think he had an agenda in that one,
With me?
No, his son. I think he had an agenda. Putting your name forward, he thought, if I can't get into the team with my ability, get my dad in there. And
get my dad picking the team.
He was there before I even went there.
So
nothing to do with
what's
me.
it like managing your son, like working with him as well in the football world? Because when he gets picked for match day, and let's say he may not be performing, or there may be better players, people are giving him the stick like, "Oh, why is he playing? He's just manager's son." So what's that like?
No, if anything, I'm harder on him than Gav is. He says to me sometimes, "Leave him alone," because you expect more from your son because of what I've done in the game and things like that. I expect him to do it, and I'm hard on him, and I shouldn't be hard on him, but when you've had him from I had him from a 7-year-old, and I've gone all the way through, right up to senior team with him now, and a lot of dads don't get that opportunity to do that. From 7 years old, I coached the football team, and then we went up to 18s. Then from there, he went on to Codicott, and then I managed there, and then I left there, and then I went with Gav, and then I've just seen him play all the way through his career. And not many fathers can say they've done that, seeing their children.
So, question: if his son is playing shit, how are you gonna tell him?
What,
Or
his
how are you
son?
gonna drop him? Yeah.
I'll tell him you shit.
No, how are you gonna bring it to him and be like? 'Cause
He don't care.
It does.
Oh,
Listen,
right.
this
No.
guy, you have to tell him to slow down because he's harder on his son than he is any other player. And it's got to a point in the past where I've just pulled him and said, look, Phil, you've got to slow down. You're just putting too much pressure on him, you know, like shouting him. Because it's not kids stuff. It's like, you know, proper getting into him. And they're family, so you know what family is about.
It's awkward at the dinner
Yeah,
table.
like-
It's,
yeah.
It is, but you expect that. You expect more from your own. And I will never treat him any different to any other player. Never. And I've always told him that. I will treat you the same as I treat them. And then when football's finished, we're family.
But when it comes to talking money, does he get a little bit bump up because his dad's in there? You know,
No,
Nothing to
Get
do
an
with
extra
me.
£3.
no, not at all.
But what's the budget like down there? Is it because I know
Zero.
Wow.
But everyone says 0, but is it really 0?
It's
That's a good
0.
point.
Let's
That's a
move
good
on.
point.
Great shout over there, apprentice, man.
Hey, it's gonna be an awkward text messages coming your way. Ooh.
Yeah. We cutting that bit out, yeah?
Nah. No, them was the brown envelopes getting
Yeah.
passed on the slide in the clubhouse. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's a 0 budget and it's non-negotiable.
So you say, you know, but we don't know. But so in terms of working on a 0 budget, how do you then attract players, and then how do you also like make money in order for the club to run? Because that must be hard running on a 0 budget, and I'm pretty sure not every step. But so in terms of working on a 0 budget, how do you then attract players, and then how do you also like make money in order for the club to run? Because that must be hard running on a 0 budget, and I'm pretty sure not every step 5 team gets like loads and loads and loads of fans coming in.
We've always taken it upon ourselves to try and like push out sponsorship via social media, get players like sponsored, try and build up like a bit of a kitty that way with money, and just try and push on all of our contacts within football and outside of football as well to see who's, you know, willing to contribute to pushing some money in the direction of the club.
How does sponsorship work? Because I've been sponsored once, but I never really understood it.
So the way we're working at the moment is £100 a player, and if you're a company, you get access to, you know, get a free home game entrance, and you get things like your own company in the
Is that
program.
all season you get a free home game entrance, or?
Good point, actually. It's not going to be one, is it? If you fault out of time, it's like, cheers, see you later. You know?
No, I'm just thinking, it can't. I mean, where the whole season you're gonna lose out on a bit of money just because of.
Sometimes, though, it's good. You might lose in the short term by charging someone, say, not charging someone £8 to get in, but it might be someone who does £50 behind the bar. So, yeah,
That is a very good point that you
yeah.
mentioned.
There's a quite a funny story about that paying to get in. There was a family at a football club I was at previously. And there was a few of them.
Why are you laughing? Were you?
And
I'm not saying nothing.
it become apparent that this family, who have got a large appetite, put it that way, yeah.
Damn boy.
It become apparent that they were sneaking in round the back and not paying the money
Entrance
to get
fee.
in. So the chairman come to me and said, you know, what do you know about it? And I said, I don't know nothing about it. I said, like, what's the crack? He said, like, I'm going to have a word with them. You know, they're avoiding paying like the 10, 12 quid, and there's like 6 of them. So I was like, that's going to be an awkward one. So his son was like involved with the team. So I said, I'm going to leave that one to you, yeah, because I don't want nothing to do
Pass
with
the
it.
buck.
So a few days later, he come up. He said, look, I'm going to drop that. I was like, all right, yeah, no worries, whatever you think's best. He said, yeah, I'm going to drop it. Turns out they spent 150 quid at the
Burger van.
at the burger van.
Sorry, technically, if they were to all pay, that means they would have been bringing in 210 every week. Well, then you can get the budget going. You see,
it.
or did you put it in your back pocket?
No.
That's one thing we never ever do.
Nah,
we never ever take money out
No, not
So-
out of a budget.
So
Never.
since you've been in like your managing career, have you guys ever been paid? By the way, how long have you guys been managing together?
Got to be coming
just
up to 12 years.
No, it's just
Yeah,
just
12
under
years.
12 years, I think it is. 10, 12.
And
around
what
10.
kind of teams have you guys managed? I know Hartford's there, Hoddesdon's there.
Yeah.
What else?
So the first club that we got involved with, I was the manager, and he obviously his son was playing for me, and I had a guy helping me out. And then we got to the end of the first season. He was like, "Look, this ain't for me." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna have to find someone." And literally, when you're in the reserves, it's like you and another guy. That is it. You know, no entourage. You know what I mean? It's just you and
Water bottles, everything.
yeah, you do everything. So I managed to rope him into getting involved, and literally, it was like on match day, you'd just be doing everything. The pair of you, filling out the team sheet, warming up the keeper, doing the warm up. So it started with the reserves. And then that was at St Mags. The manager went, the first team manager at St Mags went, and then we took over the first team and started from there.
Yeah.
didn't it?
St Mags is St Margaret, or
Yeah,
St
St
Margaret's
Margaret's yeah.
And where's that?
That's just outside of Hertford Ware area.
Okay, so any trophies along this journey? Because you said you've achieved a lot in this game. So managing any success?
I've achieved. I've played at a lot of levels at this. I played from pro right the way down.
Oh, what team?
Little name drop. Come on.
Go on, bring back the heydays.
I was at Brighton.
Where? Not bad. So any trophies along this journey? Because you said you've achieved a lot in this game. So managing any success?
I've achieved. I've played at a lot of levels at this. I played from pro right the way down.
Oh, what team?
Little name drop. Come on.
Go on, bring back the heydays.
I was at Brighton.
Where? Not bad. It's not bad. That's, you know what?
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's cut this out.
So you've done your fair share. That's how you're
I've
laying
done my
back
fair
now.
share. I-
Get to watch your boy now.
Yeah, I like you do it, youth, apprentice, pro, and then you work your way down.
So when you guys have like a disagreement, how does that work out? If
Well-
like you feel like you want to start, a player should start and he shouldn't start.
It don't. To be fair, they don't get
never-
involved in selection. I do the
He
selection.
does all that.
all by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see who's training well, see who's in the right mindset. But I normally, 9 times out of every time I pick the team. Don't get me wrong, we have a chat about everything else, but you can't have more than one person picking the team. It's like this joint manager thing that goes on. You know, the buck's got to stop for someone.
What's your thoughts on the joint manager thing? Because that's a good point.
I personally, at the end of the day,
What's your thoughts on the joint manager thing? Because that's a good point.
at the end of the day, say for example, we're joint managers. He says he wants so and so to play number 8. I want someone else to play number 8. We go with him. He's not his selection, and the 8 has a stinker. I'm like, well, it's nothing to do with me.
So you get to pass the buck.
Well,
basically.
this is what I mean though, and it would be
It can happen, can't it?
that would happen with us because we're friends outside as well. But can you imagine, say he's the manager, and then the chairman says, "I want to bring someone in down the middle with you, It's never going to work. It's never going to work. I personally don't. And the proof's in the pudding. How many joint managers are there? There's not
That's
a lot,
actually
is
a
there?
good point.
The Bucks. I know it sounds bad, but the Bucks got to stop with someone, and that's
Yeah.
always got to be a single person, be it good or be it bad. I don't take the praise for wins. I take it on the chin with the defeats, but for me, the wins are about the team, the staff, the team. You know, I always say to them every morning or the day after, always drop them a message into our WhatsApp group and say, "Look, well done yesterday. Good from all of you." You know, and it's not an I, it's a we, as far as I'm concerned. Always has been. So
Yeah, as Well, it has always been like involves everyone, not just me. Just like all of us.
There's a lot of that in football. There's a lot of like, egos.
Big egos.
And about like pushing your profile. I've never been one to push my own profile. I think the way I've been brought up is if you work hard enough, people will recognise your hard work rather than having to post everything you ever do on social media. It's, I know it's a different age now, but I've always been of the opinion I don't need to write on Twitter every time we win. I don't need to write on...
Getting a job as a manager, how does that work? Because for us footballers, it's based on maybe stats, teams we played for, word of mouth. So for you guys, what would it be? Would it be like football CVs, or maybe your playing history was good and they think you have enough experience, Brighton, to, just go into the fold and... So how would that work?
You just see players. When you play against other teams, you get to know the players and stuff like that, and you think, he ain't bad. We try and get him over. You get to know different players, don't you?
Yeah.
In like it's not, people think non-league is small. Non-league's massive. Non-league is just going through the roof at the moment, especially with social media. Non-league is just, and everyone's putting their like all players that are being released. This is my pro. They're putting their CVs and everything on Twitter now. So you haven't got to go out there to look, because you can just go on Twitter. Someone gives you a name, you can see him on Twitter, can't you? You can see his CV, you can see what he's done and who he's played for. They put their videos up now of themselves.
I think
Years ago, never used to get
that. I think when it comes to managers, it's a bit different, because there's the word of mouth as to how good a manager is. Chairman of different clubs, they have a chat. Was this guy any good? And obviously your stats stack up as to what you've done in the game, like bits and pieces like that. It's just, I think in football, you either apply for a role, or they come and find you and you go for it around the other way.
If you have aspirations to then kick on the levels, because obviously you're at Cockfosters, say like, I don't know, a job opened up at like a conference team. So how does that process work? Do you then put yourself forward? Do they come to you? Or let's put it in a different way like this. Say things were going well, you're hitting your targets for Cockfosters, and then you see, whoa, jobs opened up, I'm flying right now. Would you then take yourself forward to then go apply for the job, or how would you?
Not me personally, no. I've the situation I'm in now, like I've moved from a few clubs in the past and caused a few issues. Like I moved from St Margaret's-Bury to Hoddesdon, and that's spitting distance. And I took like a large portion of both first team and reserves with me, which St Mags weren't overly pleased about. But I've done it at the end of the season. At the end of the season, everyone's a free agent. Anyone can go where they want to go, providing they're not under contract. So I know that they wasn't impressed with that, but I was trying to push to get up the ladder as fast as possible. And St Mags had a ceiling that we'd perhaps hit already with them. So it was a difficult decision, but in the end, it was an easy decision.
You can only take a team so far.
Yeah, club so far.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very good point. I've seen a lot of managers lately that have achieved a lot for certain teams, and because their status in the club is so high, and they know they're going to be there week in, week out, they just don't know when to leave, even though they know that, okay, I've been promoted this season, now we're doing well, but we're not really kicking on. We're not in the playoffs. We're not going up. So maybe it's time to leave. So
things go
what do you
stale.
think it is in terms of like, is it a manager's pride that you feel like they can't be like, yeah, I have to resign because I can't take the club further anymore? And I feel like managers are prideful people, but hey, convert for another day.
It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I think you've got to, as a manager, you've got to assess like how high your stock is at that current point, whether you're right for the picking. Pulling out all the puns here. In that sense, like if you're flying and your reputation's through the roof, and you make it known that you've probably gone as far as you can with a certain club, there will be other clubs interested. If you're not doing very well and it's the other the opposite direction, isn't it?
Some clubs only want to go a certain level.
Yeah.
They don't want to go. They ain't got ambitions to go higher. Where we've got ambitions to go higher. So you can only take a club to a certain level, and then if another club comes up and they've got ambitions to go higher, obviously that's what you want to do, isn't it?
So if you're at a club that has no ambition and doesn't want to go higher, but there's no other clubs that want to go higher, are you then looking, or are you waiting until opportunities arise?
You would
Just
wait,
and
and you would try and you would
Just
wait,
wait
and you would try and do the right thing by the club as well. Like if you're at a club, they've got no ambition to go further. To be fair, me personally, I wouldn't have gone there in the beginning. The reason I was at St Mags was because they gave me my chance as a first team manager, and
step on the ladder, innit?
yeah, and that's no disrespect to them. It's a lovely club, lovely people. They gave me my first opportunity that I'll be forever grateful for, because it was down to them. They took a punt on me, and it worked well for both sides. So
I have a question. It's been playing on my mind whilst you guys have been. for like every player wants to know this topic, money. Why is it always an awkward conversation when it comes to money? Why can't it be just a straightforward thing? Because I feel like nowadays, the more knowledge people have in football is just so sharp. And clubs try to play certain players about. So why can't it just be a case of, okay, look, I want this money. Can I have it? Yes or no? Or you guys can be like, no, we don't have that. And it's just like a mutual agreement where you meet. Instead of, because there's situations where that would just work easy, but then it's a case of, I'm sorry, we don't have that money. But then another guy comes in the week after, and the money that he asks for, you guys all of a sudden have it for him. So why is it such a...
it isn't for me. I'm pretty straightforward when it comes to money. Obviously, if you've got a budget, you've got a parameter to work within. If you've gone and promised everyone a serious amount of dough, then you've got yourself into a bit of a sticky situation. I sometimes find that managers in football are, don't get me wrong, they're a good coach, but perhaps they're not a very good manager, because a manager just isn't about, coaching, talking. You're given a number of roles. You manage up with a chairman and a committee. You manage down with your players and your staff, and you're given a budget. For all we know, that manager could be absolutely terrible with money in his personal life, couldn't he? So all of a sudden, he's been given, I don't know, for argument's sake, a round number, 500 a week, and he's promised every dick and his dog a certain amount of dough, and he's a bit short that week, so he's stuffing some in his pocket, and then he's in. This is why I look at it, is you're giving people money that perhaps they don't know how to deal with money, irrespective of age. So for me, I've always been quite straight up when it comes to money. If I know how much I can offer a player, I'll tell him face to face. We normally meet somewhere, tell him face to face. I'll sell the club as much as I can, and sell, the pros of what we can do at the club, like the level of support, the ambition of the club. And then I'll ask him what he wants. I'll tell him what I can offer. If we can come to an agreement, if he's a bit higher, then happy days. If not, we go our separate ways. There's no kind of, you make it as awkward as you want to make it with money. You make life as hard as you want to make it. If you're straight up with everyone, it's easy, because it's either a yes or no, isn't it?
So does the money you offer the player determine on the position he plays in? Because I feel like strikers always get the most.
Yeah.
Followed by a goalkeeper to me.
Right. Okay.
I feel like goalkeepers and centre backs. No, I feel like goalkeepers and clean sheet bonus, man. They don't tell you when managers go for the experienced goalkeepers out. They'll tell you, it's just a clean sheet bonus, but alongside that, there's a win bonus, maybe a cheeky assist bonus if he does one diag out of nowhere. They don't tell you when managers go for the experienced goalkeepers out. They'll tell you, it's just a clean sheet bonus, but alongside that, there's a win bonus, maybe a cheeky assist bonus if he does one diag out of nowhere. But do you know what I mean? So I feel like, no, because keepers love their kicking.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what your budget is, isn't it?
Okay, let me put it like this. When let's say you're starting from scratch and you're looking for players, what position are you filling first?
You go.
That position you fill first is based as like the most important position to fill first. Like you need it.
I would go straight down the spine of a team.
Mm.
So you go goalkeeper, centre half, centre mid, forward, and then you build around that. I would
Which one
say.
comes first?
Oh my god.
Which one comes first?
Depends.
Look,
That's
see,
that's a good. That is a
I
good one.
told you.
I think you go
It's a really, really tough one because look,
experience.
you could have the best. You could have the best team in the world,
Yeah.
but not have a forward, and you're dominating games, creating chance after chance. And you've got you've got Phil up top. You ain't bagging. So
You better be careful.
yeah.
Do you want me to tell him?
All right, pro.
Do you want me to tell him?
All right, pro.
Tell him.
No.
You want me
can't
to tell
stop
you?
there.
You want me to tell you?
No.
Anyway,
Let's move on.
We played in a vets game. This man trains all the time, right? Runs everything. There's me having a puff and that, having a drink. Plays 10 minutes, pulls his hamstring.
It was 20. It was 25 minutes.
And he's like that. I've had it. I'm off. I can't play no more. And there's me, 70 minutes.
Fuming.
Experience.
Fuming.
They don't teach you that in non-league. Only at Brighton, man.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, what are some of the sacrifices you guys face or have to make being managers or first team coaches?
Cool. A lot of time.
Yeah. Time.
It is time.
Mm.
You think all Saturday you meet. If you're away, you meet at 12 o'clock, and then you don't get home till could be 7, 8, depending on where you're playing.
Mhm.
You're out nearly all day,
Mm.
and then overnight, Tuesday, Thursday, straight home from work, straight out. Don't get home till 11,
Wednesday.
half 11. Yeah,
Wednesday? Oh, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
For those that don't get it, so I feel like teams in like Essex Senior and Skeffel and combined counties play on a Wednesday instead of a.
No, I meant Wednesday because we're here.
Oh,
I'm on work experience.
wait. Oh.
But I'm on work experience.
No.
I got it.
No.
When you take it over,
No, I've actually got a valid point though. I actually have. Teams play on Wednesday nights.
Some do.
some do, yeah.
Why are you
Because
saying no?
they're very
for it?
rare.
They do.
Yeah.
But the sentence flowed completely.
Wait, hold
fine.
on, pause. Did you not play on a Wednesday?
Do you know why
You're
some
like-
teams play on a Wednesday?
Thank you.
Ground shift.
No, a lot of teams play Tuesdays, and there's not many teams play Wednesdays. And when we was at Colney, we tried to play on a Wednesday because a lot of teams played on a Tuesday,
Bigger attendance.
and you get more people come through the gate.
So there's a lot of Friday night games now.
Yeah.
I think one of the successful teams who play on a Friday night is Woodford Town.
Woodford.
They get a lot of fans in there on a Friday night, and I think a lot of their games are on a Friday, and I think they're pulling like 400s, 500s, which is decent. Maybe a bit less, but I've seen some big crowds over there, which is good.
Oh boy,
Mm.
money must be good down there, man.
You love a bit of pie mash, you do.
Go.
How do you select your squad?
What, at the start of the season, when you're like recruiting, or
During the season. So are we basing it on performance from the following week? Are we taking training into consideration? How are you picking your squad?
Which I think,
yeah, I
consideration, don't we?
think because obviously we're non-league, people have got jobs. We ask people to train twice a week, the Tuesday and the Thursday. Sometimes they can't train. You've got to play everyone the same deck. So, say for example, if a guy doesn't train on a Tuesday and Thursday, he's making it very awkward for you to select him on the Saturday.
What if he scored a hat-trick the previous night?
You're
can't
asking me a
drop him.
difficult question there.
You can't drop him. You can't drop him. This is what I mean. I feel like managers do some wild stuff. If a player scores a hat-trick, there's no way you can drop him.
Well, our
Can
player
we-
scored that trick on last night? Well, we might drop him on Saturday.
Can we reverse it here? I'm going to ask you a question,
Go
yeah?
on. I'm all for
Right.
questions.
So, you're playing week in, week out, yeah?
As in, I'm the player playing week in, week
Yeah,
out.
Yeah,
asking
you're
me?
playing week
Okay,
in, week
cool.
out, right? So then your understudy, you're up front, yeah? Your understudy. Who I say I play one up front and you're my man, yeah? And I've got like a reserve underneath. I'll bring him in for a cup game, yeah? You play in the league, I'm bringing him in the cup. He bags that trick. Yeah, you're my man though, yeah? Right? And then I
Finish your question.
So then that's on the Tuesday night. He bags that trick, and I go to you, look, I'm going to take your advice here. You can't drop a man who's scored that trick.
So you drop someone else.
I only play one up front. What are you going to say about that?
It's a cup game. It was a cup game as far
But
as
your
I'm
words
don't
a
matter.
minute
Your
ago
words
was
Wait, hold on. What you do is that the next time that cup event comes round, you play him in that cup game.
No.
Yeah.
Well, your words
Yeah.
though.
They were
Your words.
Exactly. So you don't drop him for that cup game.
You can't drop a man who scored a hat trick.
But how's
You're
your
not
main,
dropping
how's your
him
main
if he's
striker's
playing.
form?
Ask your man here.
I need to know the main striker's form. If he's not
We didn't factor
consistent,
that in, no. But
we have to be honest.
He's
If
a bit dodgy every now and again.
He's the main man, but he's on a little goal drought.
what's a little goal drought?
2?
3 games. If he's on a goal drought and this guy's come up
Needs a
and
little
scored a
kick
hat
up the
trick,
backside,
as long
doesn't
as the team that he played against was decent,
I believe 3 strikes and you're out in it.
Really?
As a striker, 3 strikes and you're out. Because okay, look, the first game.
You're going through a bad patch, right? And we got faith in you,
yeah.
right? We've got faith in you, and we keep playing you,
Yeah.
right? Then all of a sudden, you go 5 games, and all of a sudden, you start banging in goals. We've got faith in you, and we know that you can do it. Now you're starting to repair us.
Where have you been all my life? Honestly, just hearing everything. Where have you been?
No, I feel like it's a tricky one because with the young ones, I feel like if they're doing their job, then they should be in and around it more. But then also as a manager, like you said, managing is not all about,
We
Just-
have a lot of youth team around
I would
us,
say you've
around
got
the
to
first team.
kind of show them the ropes in the sense where you could this kind of contradicts my point in a way, but it makes a lot of sense because I feel like you're preparing them for the next stage that they're trying to get to, that they could score a hat trick, and then you need to try teach them a lesson that okay, you might not start the next game. So
Yeah.
for the basis of that, I would agree with you. But if a man's on fire, let the boy shine. That's what I'm saying.
You've just like ticked both boxes there, because if it's a youngster, he won't, even though he's bagged a hat trick, he won't expect to play the next game, because I would have briefed him before and said, look, you're going to come in, you're going to go out, you're going to come in, you're going to go out. So he knows where he stands, you know what I mean? So when you do put your hand on his shoulder and say, look, decent the other night, but the main man's coming back in, you know the crack. He's like, yep. And we've had that this season. We've got some great youngsters at Cockfosters.
Unbelievable youngsters. Seriously.
And like the chairman's doing a really good job of pushing those through. So we've had that scenario, and you just have a word with the youngsters, say, look, before the season starts, you're going to play a part, but you're going to be in and out.
It's good to have the youngsters around because you're seeing them progress, and there's a few that have been around the first team, and you've seen them progress, and they're starting to get stronger. And when they start playing their own age, like under 18s, they're so much stronger and so much confident, like more confident in themselves.
Yeah.
So with the young boys, I feel like this is a 2-part question in a way. So first of all, what kind of style of football do you guys play? I feel like this is a 2-part question in a way. So first of all, what kind of style of football do you guys play? Okay.
No nonsense.
No.
No nonsense.
Channel.
Flanks and channel is noted most games, but I would. It's funny because we talk about
Play
styles.
when you can. Play when you can play.
Yeah,
Play in the right areas.
intense is our style. Very intense tempo,
Work hard.
work rate.
Georgia know that about working hard.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
relax.
So yeah, we play the style of football that will win us the game against the opponents that are in front of us.
So your style of football is clipper channels. Let's say you see a young boy who's literally got the attributes to basically turn the game on his head. 1v1, brilliant, can get your goal and assist like that. Are you sliding him in the team compared to someone that wants to play the way you play, and you could get that performance out of him?
Is he physical enough to play that week in, week out?
Let's go with yes, but that's a good point. They're both physical enough to play like that week in, week out.
The best player plays, irrespective of age.
See, you say that, but a lot of managers.
I'm not a lot of
This is
managers.
interesting. No, it's just interesting to hear because, myself, I'm pretty sure George and Courtney would also think that we would like that to be the situation where the best players play, but it's not like that because
How can you drop a player that's on form?
What about the situation we had at Hertford where we had a young player, very young player, not proven at the level. The only reason he started a game was because we played Morden and Tiptree away, and the guy that was starting got sick on the coach, just travel sickness. So we put this guy in, very young. That guy has not looked back since. He played for us that season, was an absolute breath of fresh air. The next season, again, just mugging off seasoned pros, 2 steps up from where he played the previous season. And now he plays Chelmsford, yeah. So he hasn't looked back since. And we gave him his chance. He was good enough. And as I said, he didn't look back. And he hasn't looked back, I don't think.
No, he ain't. No. He's done well for
I
himself.
just feel like that. There's managers say they don't have a favourite, but they do. They do. They have managers also have mates, as you guys know. You said you picked some of your friends from other teams. So with that, it's just like they actually believe.
I'm going to stop you there.
Go on.
You don't pick your friends from other teams. You try to get the best players.
Yeah, agreed. And sometimes you don't like those players because remember, you only see that person on the football pitch. And if that person's like an absolute animal, you're probably not going to like him because he's doing his best to make sure his team wins. He's probably horrible. He probably gets booked. But come the end of the season, if you need that player to improve your team, and that's a fundamental absence in your team, you go and meet that player and see that if he wants to come to your team.
Here's a question for you. So every manager needs this is true. Every manager needs a player in a team that's just there for vibes the whole season. And when I mean vibes, he's a guy that's like, come on, boys, you're still in it. Well, it's only 1-0. Get a goal. You know what I mean? He keeps the vibe of the team there. He's not going to play. James Milner is basically what I'm saying. He's not going to play every game, but he's going to be there for the... When it comes to selecting players, how do you have that talk that, okay, look, you're going to be our hype man for this season. You're not going to play every game. How do you have that discussion?
With vibes, I thought like doing silly things like...
That's what I thought. And then he said James Milner. I said... Yeah, surely he's not bringing no
silly things like grabbing a bin and like whacking it to a tune afterwards.
That's George. Yeah,
That's him.
Wins don't come often around there, innit? So
clearly not.
Ain't seen that video.
You ain't done it for a while, have you?
He's always beating the drum.
Hey, we're gonna drop that in.
Yeah, you got to.
I don't think when it comes to like...
We had one, didn't we?
Oh, what, a joker?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mapes.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, but this was a guy who's just like... Football was just a sideline to just having a laugh, you know what I mean? This guy was... He was older. When I first took over St Mags, we made him captain, and he's just a joker. But when you talk about vibes, as in, you know, that kind of guy who's keeping the beat going and telling everyone, you can have that, but
The team at Hertford, they were all like it, weren't they?
Yeah. We had a very good team at Hertford.
They were all like it. And, like, you win, and everyone was just... George was there. He knows. Everyone
did
was
George
just...
play for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I said.
What's going on there?
But the team that we had at Hertford was like that.
Is that the best team that you guys have managed?
I think the team at Hoddesdon, we had a team at Hoddesdon that I think we went 5 rounds in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
For a step 5 side, that's quite good.
Yeah.
We was we eventually went out to a team that was 2 levels above us, and that was only we was leading in the replay with 15 to go, 1-0. But they had some, you know, I think they had a lad on loan from somewhere, I don't know where, but he turned in the last minute and put it top bins. That's probably the best way to go out, I think.
Yeah, you can do that. It was in the last 5 minutes as well,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Nice.
Ronaldo one.
But
Huh?
The Ronaldo one.
Alright, cool. So you guys have all seen the situation going on with Ronaldo and that. So if you had a player for your club basically doing what Ronaldo is doing, how are you handling that? Because there's always one madman in the team. Ronaldo's not a madman, by the way, but there's like that all eyes are on him, watching to see what he's gonna do if he acts up or anything. So how are you guys managing that sort of situation?
It's a really difficult question, I think, because for what the level we manage at and the level that Ronaldo's at and the club that he's at, he gets paid an absolute fortune.
I guess what I'm trying to say is there's club legends in non-leagues, like the guys that have their names on the wall and their stands named after them, those kind of guys, and they come back and you can see that they're not fit. They're at the end of their careers, but be part of it. They want to have, they believe that, okay, I should be, look at what I've done for the club. In this way, I'm part of the, furniture. And
Things change.
I agree, Phil. I would have got rid of him in the summer.
Things change and things move on. And
You've got
to move on with the modern game now.
The style of play as well. Look, the amount that a player is asked to work now,
that's a good point.
It is really tough for someone like him who clearly don't want to press. And on the flip side, you've got a geezer that scores 20 plus goals in an average side and can just turn magic like that.
Best players play.
But I think the whole kind of 10 of your work for the one can suffice. So we go, your man there, he's our Ronaldo, and the 10 of you lot have got to do his work. You either agree to do that or you don't agree to do that. But if you've got a magician, tough one, isn't it?
That's for the
I'm not
managers.
gonna.
Yeah, it is.
So,
there you go.
It's a good question.
In terms of tough decisions, here's a couple quick fire questions that we've got down for you. So we'll start off easy on you, then we'll work our way through. See, if your manager skills are there, and you guys can also comment in the comment section below and answer. I'll be watching. So to start off, top 3 managers of all time.
What, non-league?
Nah. In general, we're talking the professional game.
Hold on.
I think
the rose-tinted Arsenal goggles are coming out.
Well, no, you've got to say Wenger. He changed the way of football in the Premier League.
Yeah,
he changed it.
It's a good shout.
Even Spurs fans, like he completely changed the way the Premier League went.
Good shout.
So one Wenger.
Yeah.
You've got 2 more.
Yep. Got to be one, hasn't
it? Yeah, I would say so.
There's a huge question mark about him going around recently.
There isn't there, but
what's that question mark?
So the question mark is, so for example, managers like Sir Alex Ferguson and managers like, who was I just gonna name? Sir Alex Ferguson and what's his name? Give me a second. Let's go with Sir Alex Ferguson for now. So basically, managers like Sir Alex Ferguson, they've gone to deal with teams and won stuff where they shouldn't have won with that team.
Yeah.
Pep's never done that.
No.
That's the question mark.
I think you have got to put Ferguson in that.
That's the question mark people have around Pep Guardiola, is that what team has he been at where he wasn't meant to do what that side was meant to do?
He's always gone to a team with money.
What's Ferguson? What was he? He was.
His one was Aberdeen.
But when he at St Mirren before that, or something like that.
He played for Aberdeen, didn't he? I think he.
Yeah, Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And then
he managed.
Well, not just domestically though, like overseas. I think Aberdeen done really well.
They won the European Cup.
Yeah, not the
UEFA Cup.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah.
I remember my other manager, Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, but he had money at Chelsea.
Yeah, but Porto to win the Champions League with Porto, right?
Yeah, that's a good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So
I'd say Wenger, Ferguson, definitely.
Last.
That's down to you.
I'd go Mourinho. Do you know what? If you want to win one game, if your life depended on one game,
He'd do that.
I would go Mourinho above everyone else.
I agree, 100%. 100%.
Don't forget about a league. Forget about a long-term thing.
Cup
One
final.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He'll
He,
get that
he knows
done.
how to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You reckon he gets the job done over Pep?
100%. Tactically, Pep, like we said, Pep needs money. So if this team is bang average, I think Jose Mourinho knows exactly how they need to play just to win this game.
He done it when he went in Chelsea, didn't he?
Yes.
It's not a bad point. So,
Yeah, yeah.
next question. Haaland or Harry Kane?
I'm going Kane every day of the week.
Oh my.
Geezer's got a better all-round game.
Haaland is a beast, you know.
Haaland's young.
He had 9 goals in 4 games.
How many did he score?
Who's he play for though?
Yeah, no, but this
No disrespect.
but hear me out. If you have 9 goals in 4 games, you already have half the goals. You need to be considered a decent Premier League striker by the end of the season. You need 20 to be considered like a top striker or a decent striker in the Premier. He has 9 and 4. That's outrageous.
Yeah, Phil.
He's still learning, right? He's still learning.
What a way to be learning. Where?
100%. But like, I'm an Arsenal fan through and through, right? I hate Spurs, but I'm going to say this is going to be on, right?
This is going to be replay.
Harry Kane has got it. I think he's the all-round. If Haaland looks at him and takes on board what he does, then there's not going to be no one near Haaland. But I think as a young player, as a young forward like that, I'd be looking at what Harry Kane does and how his movement and his hold-up play, where at the moment, Haaland, it's just, he's in the box. Harry Kane does everything outside the box as well.
I think just countering on your Haaland, you could play up front for City and score 10 goals in a season. I'm telling you. That's how many chances they create.
Go
and
on,
I've never
boy.
even seen you play
Go
football.
on, boy.
You know what it is? I'm not even gonna lie. I did start off as a striker.
And now you're
Start
centre
off.
half.
My stats were unreal. No,
What, under 15?
Harry Kane plays in a struggling
I'm
side,
talking,
doesn't
I'm
it?
just touch it out my feet and bang it top bins, but you know, I just thought it's too easy. I like being the one that the team rely on to get those 1-0 wins, so I'm a defender now, innit?
5-man, yeah?
Nah, not even. Okay. So it's Klopp's time up at Liverpool.
Ooh. I've always said it, right? I've got a fella at work, Liverpool fan through and through. And when Mane went, I said,
was
that's the end
done.
of Liverpool.
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong, Salah scored all them goals, but I think he carried him. He done all his work.
That's a good point.
I personally, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know whether other people
There's
agree
something
with it,
not right there,
but
clearly, is it? And it might be that
Since
guy's
he's left.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know if his time's up, though. I don't know if his time's up.
It is a bit too harsh, but you know how fans in football are. The moment things start
Yeah.
going left,
Yeah.
they're right on your back. Can't
Yeah.
understand why
and the
that
thing is,
but-
the ball there, they've had success. They're going to want it again, and if he ain't giving it to them,
Well,
look what happened at Chelsea.
Every team needs to go through that phase, though. You can't always be on the up. I mean,
Yeah,
Man
you
City
can't.
have had it, Arsenal have had it.
Man U.
I was gonna say Spurs, but Spurs have always been down. They ain't won the trophy since Jonathan Woodgate. Do you even remember that? Just making sure.
I was there.
Okay, my last question. So there's one more spot. So you're the man in Gareth Southgate's ear, and there's one more spot on that England team. It's that right back spot. Are you taking Reece James or Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Reece James, he defends. Reece James, he defends.
Wait,
I wouldn't take Arnold. To me, I played right back. Don't get me
You
wrong.
did you?
Yeah,
For Brighton.
yeah, I played there in centre half. But
relegations,
to me-
promotions, cups for Brighton.
no relegation.
Didn't win
Just-
much in
just-
the air.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. To me, as a right backer, the way I look at it, I'd say Reece James. He defends and he can get forward. Alexander Trent can't defend. Arsenal exposed him. And when Who did they drop him against? And Milner went in.
That was City, wasn't it?
City. That's why they played Milner there. Trent weren't injured. Trent was sitting on the bench. To me, I don't think Trent was injured. I think they played Milner there with experience. That is my
You're
opinion.
giving him enough time to think.
It's a tough one because some of those balls Trent can play are unreal, aren't they?
They are, but
And don't get me wrong, I know the crack about defending and stuff. I'd find a space for him somewhere else.
What, Trent?
Yeah.
yeah, cleaning the boots.
Courtney, where you?
Vibes, man.
Huh?
Reece James. That's not a question. Reece James. Because I think a defender's job is to defend first.
He can cross as
Everything
well.
else
He gets
yeah,
forward.
and he's a decent
Yeah.
going forward. Everything else is pretty, but
Assist, man,
he needs to defend.
in the fantasy team.
Oh, getting you those points. Boy. Well, so we've asked you guys all our questions. Have you got any questions for us?
Oh, dear.
I've got one. How long does
on.
this apprenticeship last for?
Hopefully, just this one.
I was going to say, I think you've.
You know what's crazy? Me and him have actually played against. That was a long
Who did
day.
he play for?
At the time, so he played for Brentford Academy. I played for the college program, and yeah.
Who are you playing for now?
Oh, I'm at Cheshire United.
Is that why you got your manager on here? You're trying to get in his good books, are you?
Wait, no.
You're trying to get in his good books.
Okay, so
Are you
let me.
sitting on the bench?
Let me,
Are you sitting on that bench at the moment?
let me clear a couple things up. One, I do not choose who comes on the show. This guy does. You will see who this guy behind the camera is that hides himself.
Mr.
Don't-
X, innit?
Don't worry, when we get those videos of that guy banging the drum, you'll know who it is. But it's that guy. So that's that. As for being on the bench, I'm currently injured. Don't.
That's what Trent said. Gaffer, I can't play this week. It's Man City.
What position do you play?
Right
Fullback.
back.
He actually
No.
Oh, God.
We are officially done. Nah, honestly, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for. Thank you for your time. For those new viewers, you already know what to do. Make sure you stay tuned for our next.
Finished.
Nah, I'm done. I'm done.
And now this is ball hour, and we can ball all hour.